What is up, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to yet again another Shin Trailers breakdown. My name is Bro Ryu for Shinjuku Station Podcasting, and thanks for checking out the channel and this video. A couple days ago, a certain trailer hit for a certain 80s property that the movie had been in development for a while, and the movie is directed by John M. Chu, director of such classics as the G.I. Joe sequel to the live-action G.I. Joe and the Justin Bieber documentary Never Say Never. He was working on a project where he was going to be adapting Jem and the Holograms to live action. Now, the funny story is behind this is that he was actually originally tasked to do the live-action edition of Masters of the Universe based on the toy line from the 80s as well. Most people know it culturally as He-Man. And he eventually said, you know what, I want to kind of leave that project and do something different. And the different thing that he chose was Jem and the Holograms. I actually was pretty jazzed to hear about that because unlike a lot of people, I actually liked the sequel to G.I. Joe, the one starring The Rock. The name of it slips my memory at the moment. I want to say it's The Rise of Cobra or something like that. I could be wrong. I think it might be the first one. But I watched that, and although, you know, it's your standard fare action film, I didn't think the worst of it, and I liked The Rock in it, and most of the cast was pretty awesome in it too. You had, I think you had Jonathan Pryce as Zartan, well, as the president, being played by Zartan, or being, being intimidated. I am bad words right now. It's so late. Being impersonated by Zartan. And what else? Yeah, all sorts of elements. Adrienne Palicki was in it. She played Lady J, if I recall, and she did a really great job. I like the cast overall. Maybe Bruce Willis walked through it, but he does that for most movies nowadays. But I didn't think really badly of the film, and I was kind of hyped to hear that we're going to do Jem and the Holograms. Now, myself, I wasn't a diehard watcher of Jem. I grew up in the 80s, and we had shows like Transformers and G.I. Joe, and there used to be a block that was in syndication that ran in some areas on Sundays and other areas on Saturdays. Where I lived, it was on Sundays, and they would kind of sandwich Jem between two boy-centric shows in the block that I had. There were shows like Inhumanoids and Visionaries, and I would find Jem just sandwiched between those. So just to have the time go by, there really wasn't anything else on television, I would watch Jem and the Holograms, and it was cool. I didn't play with the toys or anything like that, and I would have never admitted it at school. But there was a kind of appeal to the show because it had such a unique slant to it. It wasn't like Barbie where it was just about girls playing dress up. It was more so there was a story there. There were minority characters that were actually represented in the show. You had a woman who not only was someone who inherited a business, but also inherited a foster home for a lot of young girls who she ran a foster home for in order to take care of them. And she was a busy woman. Jerrica Bennon was the name of the character, and she also was a musician in secret, and she couldn't really justify doing having a musical career and having all these other responsibilities until she came across an experiment that her father, her dearly departed father, left behind called Synergy. I'm paraphrasing the hell out of the story because I'm not all that educated on that, so feel free to clarify anything you guys want to in the chat. But her father was a bit of a technophile, and he created a holographic AI called Synergy that gave her and the other members of her band women that she grew up with, some of them orphans and one of them her sister, women that she grew up with, to kind of have dual identities as these rockers, Jem and the Holograms, and they would use the technology from Synergy embedded into their earrings in order to cast holograms upon themselves to look differently. And that was a big hook on the show. It was one of the biggest deals about the show. Such a big deal that culturally, it's still referenced in things like Hannah Montana and maybe even a lot of shoujo anime as well. I honestly don't know, but I know Hannah Montana definitely borrowed the concept, although it's a bit more low-tech in that. But after seeing this trailer, I was mystified at the absence of that and some other things as well, and we're about to watch the trailer right now. When this trailer hit, something happened on the internet, something along the lines of a Gempocalypse. People lost their shit over this trailer, and rightfully so. If you were a girl or anybody who really grew up on the show in the 80s, you had every right to be upset. I can't really say much because I wasn't, a diehard fan. I never have been a diehard fan, but I appreciated the novelty of the show. And in later years, like when I was in my 20s, I'd met people who, grew up with the same shows that I did, and we would talk about, yo, man, I kind of watched Gem on the Sly, son. And, we talk about the show, and it's like, the show was kind of cool, but, back in the day, we couldn't admit that shit. So, but, over time, I kind of wanted to see the show again, and then the show started to re-air on the Hub when that was still a network here on cable. And it finally also hit Netflix, which you can actually find, I believe, the entire series, if not most of it, on Netflix now. So that's really cool that you can actually check out the show again. I know it went through some kind of legal debacle on even getting re-released. Maybe there was some kind of issue with the rights for the music, or something else with the rights behind the show, but now it's available for anybody to check out. So even if you didn't grow up with the show, there's a lot of people over the last couple of years that have discovered the show because of airings on television and because of Netflix, and they love the show as it was. And seeing this trailer kind of shot everybody in the foot, in a sense. Now, when people adapt something, I don't expect it to be to the letter. I really don't. But I think they lost the plot with this trailer. And let's watch this trailer. Let's see exactly how groundbreaking it is. Let's check this out. Let's go. Oh, your appropriate audiences, you'll be lucky to get one.
I, Jerica Benton, am living the most unexceptional life.
Get one of those grocery bags?
Yo, Molly Ringwald.
And I live with our Aunt Bailey and her 2 foster kids.
You got a crowded house.
Sing one of your songs.
Here we go.
I don't like being on camera.
Now that's kind of true to the character. She's kind of shy about her musical ability. And it's just something I guess her character will have to overcome. But just to I had something in my mind. Let me go ahead and let this play out. Come back to me.
At some point, we all wish that we could just become someone else.
I'm gonna play you a song I wrote.
Who's got the heart of a hunter, pounding like thunder.
She'll thank me later.
Now, I'm not going to knock her singing ability. I think she actually is a pretty talented singer. I think her name is Aubrey Peoples, who plays Jerica Benton in this. But you'll notice they're not. She's not a millionaires, and she doesn't seem to be anything more than your average suburban teenager, which already is a red flag right there. And that pissed off a lot of people because she in the TV show was a powerful person, and she had some foothold in the music industry, and just in business in general. And now she's being depicted as a teenager. Now I get the reason why they're trying to market this show to market this movie to young women, and that makes all the sense in the world because they want teenagers to come out and see this. The crowds that would be into Justin Bieber or whatever the teen pop sensation that's out right now, like One Direction or whatever. But they kind of robbed Jerica of like her significance as a character in the animated series. Granted, it's a 1980s cartoon, so I'm not trying to make this sound like it's like a Shakespeare, because it wasn't, but she was a unique character for the time, and I kind of wish they kept that. Then again, I'm not the demographic for this movie. I'm just a grown-ass man talking about something that doesn't concern me in the slightest, but I found it of some interest when I saw the fan backlash online, and I feel for them, man. I've seen them take something that I enjoyed as a child and completely drag it through the mud, i.e. Transformers. So I know your pain, and that sucks out loud. Let's get back to it.
Something's happening that you really need to see.
What? Oh my God.
So that's Kimber.
Did you do this, Kimber?
Yo, that Justin Bieber effect, the YouTubes.
Life, wondering what would have happened if you didn't take that chance.
The biggest record company in the world wants to sign us.
You're gonna be famous!
Now, the Justin Bieber influence is pretty strong in this, and there's a good reason why. As you can see, this is from the director of Never Say Never. John M. Chu is has a pretty good relationship with Justin Bieber, and because of that, maybe some of his story leaked into this kind of idea for an adaptation for Gem and the Holograms. which, you know, I like the fact that they're modernizing the tale. I do dig that. It's not like it needs to be stuck in the 80s. It doesn't have to be. But you're missing some major things that made Jem special, i.e. synergy. And that, as you'll see, she won't make an appearance throughout this entire trailer at all.
Welcome to Starlight Enterprises.
This is Rio.
Yo, Rio, at least Rio made it.
You are no longer Jericho. Jem, that's what we call you now.
That means changing the way you act, sound, and look.
This is us?
No,
So Eric Raymond's actually been reinterpreted as a woman in this. And there's nothing wrong with that, actually. I like the actress that's playing her. She's been reinterpreted as a woman, and I think that actually is a pretty good move for the story itself. It's nice to see at least that there is a powerful woman that's a part of the story, but too bad she's the antagonist. That kind of sucks. But it'd have been fine. I'd have been fine if Jericho was also a businesswoman and she was going to be going toe-to-toe with this lady right here. But if you guys don't remember from the original television show, one of the main villains was a businessman named Eric Raymond, who tried to exploit Jem and the Holograms and ended up being the business manager of the Misfits, their main rivals. Where are the Misfits in this movie? Your guess is as good as mine. Such a big part of the TV show, yet nowhere to be found in this. I did hear that the Misfits are going to show up somewhere in this movie. Maybe they'll be on the periphery. Maybe they'll show up in a stinger or at the end of the film. Maybe they'll even be made mention of. I honestly don't know. I don't want to say this trailer is the end-all, be-all of what you're going to see in the movie. And in this movie's defense, people have said, who went to CinemaCon a couple weeks ago. CinemaCon is this convention where people go to see upcoming movies. It's where a lot of people in the movie industry, especially theater chains, all come together to get a look at the slate of films coming up and see trailers ahead of the public. They saw trailers for this, and I heard that this movie actually went over somewhat well there. So when it released onto the internet, it was like night and day on how it was received. But this actress's name is, looking here, if I recall, Juliette Lewis. I'm a fool for not remembering. Juliette Lewis. She plays Erica Raymond. So let's get back to it.
it's Photoshop.
So you can see that Jem's persona is more practical. So if you want practical effects, here you go, guys. You finally get your practical effects. Screw CG, you don't need it.
Would have never guessed that coming here would mean a whole new Jericho.
You mean Jem. The whole world wants to know who you are right
I think
now.
I might have missed something in there. Let me run it back a little bit.
Would have
So
never
they
guessed
got some radio play? Oh, yo, A&R, baby.
Sisters revealing a whole new look.
You're on the radio! No. Oh my god, we're on the radio!
Would have never guessed that coming here would mean a whole new Jericho.
You mean Jem. The whole world wants to know who you are right now.
Oh, they're on the blow up, man.
It's not one of four. It's one of a kind.
Oh, she's gonna go solo? Like Beyonce?
That's not how a family's supposed to act.
This is just the beginning.
What version of me that
Oh, now she's Lady Gaga, son. She's too hot for television, man.
Even when the odds seem impossible, you need to trust the people you're closest to.
There you got Rio on deck.
I need to fix this.
So I'm assuming Rio knows who she is in real life.
Let's go, Jem.
Unlike the TV show where he was just a dumbass.
Everyone has a secret identity.
What song is this? One Direction? That means this trailer's gonna get flagged on YouTube. Yay. Thank you, YouTube. Damn you.
My daughter would kill me if I didn't get an autograph.
Of course.
She's gonna freak.
On your arm?
Yeah.
What is her name?
You just put Steven.
Really? Jesus Christ. But yeah, that's Jem and the Holograms, guys. That's the trailer. That's the domestic trailer as opposed to the international trailer, which I haven't really watched. I can't imagine it being too different. Plus, it's shorter. So, but some of the notable people that are in this movie are, of course, Juliette Lewis, Molly Ringwald, who a lot of people know from the Brat Pack of the '80s. Scrolling down the list, Aurora Perrineau is the daughter of what's his name? Let's see. God, he's on the tip of my tongue. She's the daughter of the guy who played Walt in Lost. Harold Perrineau. There you go. And Brittany Perrineau. as their daughter, and she plays in this movie Shayna Elmsford. So she's one of the 4 holograms. And of course, she got as Jem Aubrey Peoples, and Kimber is Stephanie Scott, and that leaves Aja, who's played by Haley Kiyoko. They went on a big search to find these girls too, and when I saw the first picture of them, it's like I saw that little preview picture, and I didn't think I didn't think too badly of it. But at the time, we all thought that it was going to have that sci-fi slant that the original animated series would have, and it seems to be robbed of all its character, man. This movie has just been made into another movie based around people becoming famous off of their talent. It's a simple story. I know people are wigging out for good reason. I'm not gonna flip out too much about this, but I feel bad for anybody who is sorely disappointed by this. If you guys want to see Jem and the Holograms brought to a modern audience and yet retains all the soul of the original, there's a comic that just got released by IDW. You should check it out. I actually have read the first the first issue, and I thought it was well done. And big things to come in that comic. So if you want to see Jem and the Holograms more akin to what you remember, yet modernized, definitely do IDW a solid and go out and find that comic and tell them So Bro sent you. Sending people to all things that. But yeah, Jem, it's weird that we live in a life. We live in a time where you actually see a live action Jem and the Holograms movie. It's pretty neat. But I'm disappointed that they didn't pull it through in the way that they should have. I will say this: the movie is produced in part by Blumhouse, I believe. Blumhouse. Let's see, Blumhouse or Blumhouse Productions. They have been known, although they've had a lot of success with movies as of recently. Let me go ahead and pull this up here. I'll pull it up on my other scene. I think this is it. Oh, here we go. I got it. Here is the wiki. Blumhouse Productions has produced this movie, and for a budget of $5 million. So $5 million this movie cost. Blumhouse is known for their really micro budgets for their films, and this is not the smallest budget I've seen their films have. At the end of the day, this one's actually a little bit more than what these movies do run. Oh wow! It says here Jem's voice actress Samantha Newark, Jerica Jem's speaking voice, and Britta Phillips, Jerica Jem's singing voice, will have cameo appearances. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. So they actually gave a nod to the animated series and are gonna have people who actually did the voices of the singing voices of those characters, or the singing and speaking voices of those characters in the movie. That's cool. I don't know if that's gonna win over the hordes of people who are highly disappointed by the film though, but at least there's that. The movie comes out October 23rd, 2015. But yeah, Blumhouse, they don't really spend a lot of money on films. And if they were going to put any special effects in this movie, it may have tripled the budget, which probably made the heads of the studio say, yeah, we're going to have to make this on a small budget. Do what you can. So they kind of had to reinterpret it to that. There's no excuse. If you're going to take on this property, give it the budget that it deserves. And they should have at least taken the fundamentals from Jem and the Holograms and stuck to that. They could have changed a whole lot of things, and if there's anything that proves that, is the comic. The comic has synergy, the comic has holograms, the comic has the characters depicted as they should be, if not more real world. So again, comics of course are cheaper to produce, but I wish they had taken a look at that comic, or the comic had come out a little bit earlier to inspire this movie, and maybe just maybe then it may have turned out better. I do predict that if this movie fails, which it may actually have a hard time failing, but if this movie fails, in about 10 or 15 years, you might get a reboot that's properly adapted. Or this movie could fail so badly that Hollywood will never look at this ever as a property to adapt again. So I guess there's two sides of the story in regards to that. Either way, it sucks for anybody who's a diehard Jem fan. My heart goes out to you. I'm sorry that it turned out this way. Keep this in mind. We have yet to see the movie though, so we don't know exactly how the movie's going to turn out, and what we see in the trailer may not be a proper representation of what the film is. So all I can tell you is that when the movie does come out, pay attention to the reviews for the film and read between the lines on what they say about the movie. Hopefully you can read some reviews from actual Gem fans that are happen to be reviewers and will go see the movie and give it an honest review and not a biased one. So and then you can make your decision. Maybe this is just the beginning. Maybe there are other elements of the original Gem story that may come into play in future installments. Honestly don't know. They also can do reshoots. Given the backlash on the internet, they'd be smart to go back and reshoot a few things for this movie to kind of give a bigger nod to the fans of the original series. So the ball's in your court, Blumhouse, and John M. Chu, wish you all the best. Oh, actually, one last thing. Doctor from the SSAA podcast, that's the Ass Backwards Anime podcast over on iTunes. If you look for it, just type in SSAA podcast. The host, Doctor, hit me up with this article that was written by the Mary Sue and Kat Conway of the Mary Sue. And she says how the Gem and the Holograms movie completely misses the point. And it goes into the breaking down the trailer a lot better than I did. And how that and talking about the backlash from social media and what the trailer and the movie is getting wrong. So I highly suggest it. I'll put the link in the video at the bottom of the video for you guys to check out the article. And hope you guys enjoy that. And definitely let Kat know your thoughts on the trailer as well by commenting on what she had to say. But thank you guys. Make sure to hit that follow button here on the channel. Subscribe. Feel free to leave a review of or leave your own comment on the trailer here, and I'll be glad to respond to you guys. And thanks a lot for watching yet again another Shin Trailers breakdown here on Shinjuku Station. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys later. Peace.